Good evening and welcome to the Bucket List with me, Beth Krista Wilson, brought to you tonight from Leeds Trinity University. It's the day of graduation for them, and later in the show we're going to be meeting the man who is probably the oldest graduate in the country this year. He's called Bill and he's 90 years old. But first tonight to a jukebox manufacturing company right here in Leeds.
Leeds is well known for being the city of the best kept secrets, and tucked away in Crossgates is one of them. It's a company called Sound Leisure, most well known locally for producing premium jukeboxes.
Sound Leisure was formed in 1978 by my father, Alan Black, who's still working with the business now. We are a family-run organisation based in Crossgates in Leeds. We employ 115 people over two sites, one here in Crossgates, one down in Nottingham. Nottingham looks after all the electronics and software, and the main factory is where we build the jukeboxes, which is the main part of the business. On site we have our own vac forming, metalwork, electronics, wood shop, and obviously people that are then fixing everything into these machines. The room we're in here now is final test, so this is where every machine that goes through the factory ends up going, passing through before it's shipped to whichever part of the country or part of the world that we're working on.
The organisation is developing a worldwide reputation. It's one of only two in the world to create items like this.
Business is really spread throughout the world, so we ship to Australia. We've just got a great deal in America, which the first 40-foot container will be leaving Crossgates next Friday. So the machines in the far background, that's where they're destined for, and that's our first foray into America. So we're excited about that, and we'll see what happens.
The process of making a complex machine with such a focus on intricate design, whilst encasing a music playing mechanism that's built to last decades, requires a bit of manpower.
Yeah, so what happens is when we take an order for a machine, obviously that's passed through the factory. The factory will start off with in the metal workshop, where they'll be manufacturing the castings before they go for chrome plating, so they'll be fettled, drilled, tapped, checked that the sizes are correct. The wood, the whole cabinet is a wooden cabinet, so we've got our own moulds and jigs that we have to form to. So that process begins. Plastic Works is round the back, so they'll be building all the bubble tube casings. So these are actually police riot shield, so if anybody gets have too much of a vigorous party, or they end up in a nightclub somewhere around the world, they'll still look like new the next morning. Player mechanisms are all manufactured in-house, the amplifiers and the electronics are all manufactured in-house, so basically everything you see on that cabinet, it may have left the building at some stage to have a process fulfilled, such as the chrome plating that goes down to Birmingham, but we do try and do as much in-house as we can, and that's where a lot of the 115 staff that we've got are involved in the process of just turning one of these machines out. One of the skills that we've really got within Sound Leisure are the woodworking division from that department. We start off with apprentices, so as they're leaving school, we set them on, because when they're leaving school, what we're doing is obviously we're recreating a machine that's from the 1940s, so a lot of the skills that are being taught at school now are based on more modern techniques and what we need to form a cabinet, etc. So we start off with apprentices and they work through, so we've got 4 or 5 now, and that's anything from cabinet making to French polishing, but the cabinet making especially is very unique to what we're doing, and anybody who comes through our apprenticeship course here will be highly skilled when they've finished it, and thankfully when they've done it, most people do stay with us. It's a nice family environment. There's a lot of brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, husbands, wives working here, so it's not just me and my family, we're all part of a big family and a big team.
However, from the multi-skilled powerhouse here comes the opportunity to diversify, taking orders for certain items that are more out of the ordinary.
I think the skill sets that we've got on site lend itself to other industries as well. So as you walk around the factory, you may see furniture that's going to some of the Leeds City Council houses, such as Temple Newsham or Lotherton Hall. We work alongside people that supply Christmas tree decorations for some of the larger shopping centres. We get involved in all sorts of things. People literally walk through our door knowing that we've got a wood shop and we've got the skills to build this, and just ask us if we can do anything to help them with their problem. So they will literally come down with a piece of paper and say, could you make this?
As a company that specialises in retro design, the recent hipster movement has taken a positive hit on the Crossgates firm.
Whether it's from classic cars, anything that's looking back, it has got a business around it somewhere. We are lucky that we had all the skills for these machines already in-house. We've been building them since 1984, but we're seeing a massive upsurge in interest. Whereas before it was to go into bars and into clubs, this is now really going into people's homes, and that's something else that we're seeing a massive increase in, that people are building their own snooker rooms, pool rooms. Even if they're not going to that extent, people just remember these machines, and it is a bit like having an open fire in your house, or possibly an Aga or something like that, where it's a lifestyle product, and it's just something that once people get them in, if you get one in your house, everybody wants to see it, everybody wants to touch it. Every photograph that's taken afterwards will be somebody with their arm over the jukebox. They're not bothered about the guy whose house it's in. It's just, that's the picture they want now.
A beautiful item for the home it is. However, unlike its exterior, the insides are in keeping with the modern day. However, one music playing platform is seeing a comeback.
The standard machine has got 80 CDs in, so what most people then do is add a Bluetooth connector, so then that opens up a different world. Then you can have all your radio stations, etc. So with these machines, we're looking into the future. We've got developments that will come out over the next 2 or 3 years which are mind-blowing, but likewise we're looking at reintroducing vinyl, which will come out early next year. And so we're looking at 2 different aspects, and that's one of the fun things about this business, that you come in on a morning and you don't know if you look into the future or if you're looking back 80 years. So we definitely are back to the future in a big way with Sound Leisure's name.
Better get stocking up on those vinyls then. But finally, why set up in Leeds?
Leeds, well, for a start off, that's where my father was born. So that was the first consideration. From our point of view though, Leeds is a brilliant place to do business. We've got a great network of roads. We're just off the M1, so we can be all over. The branch down in Nottingham, we can be there in an hour. But we've got a lot of people that want to work. From our point of view, we are building a bit of history each time we manufacture one of these machines. We know that these machines will last. This machine here will last a lot longer than I will. So we know that we're just trying to manufacture the best that's out there, offer the best service beyond that. And from our point of view, working in Leeds, we get great support from the council and their staff. We've got some great feedback and some really good support from them, and we feel comfortable here. And it's the factory where we are, nice area, no problem.
Next tonight's The Sikh Sacred Sounds, a show focused on poetry and music and the Sikh contribution to World War I. The cast are back for one more performance this Friday at Gurdwara Singh Sabha.
Nima, Sacred Sounds, tell me what it's all about.
Sacred Sounds looks at Sikh music traditions specifically, because it is a religion that started, around the 15th century. And it is extraordinary because the Guru Granth Sahib, that is the sacred scriptures of the Sikhs, every verse within that has been composed to be sung. And it's evidenced authorship, it's known authorship, and that is unusual in itself. The second thing that is unusual is, unlike any other holy scripture that I'm aware of in any case, it also includes the compositions of bards and saints who were not Sikhs, but whose songs, if you like, emphasized Sikh theological beliefs. And since its founding, I think there has been this rich music tradition. And around about the late 19th century, the harmonium began to be used in Indian music. And around the 1st century and beyond, it also was introduced into Sikh religious music. So you have the strings, instruments called the dilruba, the taus, the israj, and then you have the harmonium. So there's a very rich tradition, both in terms of vocals and instrumentation, that is absolutely fascinating.
It's a very interesting tradition that you tell me about, and some of the instruments that you're talking about as well are incredibly beautiful sounds that you hear as well. When people go along to this show, it's going to be at the Howard Assembly Rooms, it's going to be here in the Gurdwara as well. What will it look like? What will they expect?
Well, I hope it will be richly evocative, because we have also sourced a number of images from the Imperial War Museum collections and from the British Library of Sikh soldiers, very poignant images. There's one of a group of Sikh soldiers performing kirtan, that is the musical form of worship, in a French barn. This is in 1915. And, you can see the surroundings are, a bit bleak, a bit rough and ready, but the expression on their faces tells you how their music, how the words from the Guru Granth Sahib instilled in them a fortitude and courage that enable them to actually, go into battle.
The recruits are at your doorstep. The recruits are at your doorstep. Here you eat dried roti. There you'll eat fruit. Here you are in tatters. There you'll wear a suit. Here you wear worn-out shoes. There you'll wear boots.
Because of course there were many thousands, hundreds of thousands, I dare say, of Sikh soldiers who fought in the First World War as well. So I suppose in some ways this project is a nod to them and the contribution that they made.
Oh, absolutely. There are a variety of figures, but certainly 97,000 is one of the figures approximately.
That's it for part one of the bucket list. Join me after the break when I'll be meeting Leeds Trinity University's 90-year-old graduate. We'll see you soon.